Armenia says more than 28,000 people have left Nagorno Karabakh. That's around 25% of the region's 120,000 residents. It comes days after Azerbaijan took control of Nagorno Karabakh, which has been dominated by ethnic Armenians. Armenia has sent in medical teams after Monday's explosion at a fuel depot killed at least 68 people and injured hundreds more. It happened as people were lining up to get petrol before trying to leave for Armenia. Osama bin Javaid reports from Kornidzor, which is close to Nagorno Karabakh.
The fire raged for hours as a 100-ton fuel tank burned. 15 special firefighting vehicles were sent by Azerbaijan to extinguish the blaze. People gathered to fill their tanks as tens of thousands of ethnic Armenians leave Karabakh. Russian peacekeepers and the Red Cross are evacuating critically wounded burn victims. Ill-equipped hospitals struggled with the influx of hundreds of patients. Several facilities, including a medical center run by the Russian peacekeeping mission, were quickly overwhelmed. Aid has started to arrive, and medics are calling for urgent supplies.
It's urgent that all these patients, hundreds of patients, get as much medical care as they can, but it's also urgent that these patients are moved to medical facilities that are able to better care for them.
Representatives of the Azerbaijani government say they're in contact with representatives of the Armenian residents of Karabakh. The Red Cross is being given access to treat the wounded. Medical workers and supplies are being flown in from Armenia, and some patients in critical condition are being taken back. The Azerbaijani government says it's opened its airspace, sent in medical help, and put hospitals around the Karabakh region on high alert. But after years of mistrust and fighting, ethnic Armenians aren't even ready to bring in their critically wounded patients for treatment into Azerbaijan. Osama bin Javaid, Jazeera, Kornidzor, Karabakh region.
Now, in a moment, we're going to hear from Bernard Smith in the Armenian border village of Kornidzor. But first, we're going to go to Osama bin Javaid, who's now in the city of Shusha in Nagorno Karabakh region. Just bring us up to date with the situation with regard to the medical help and the people leaving and so on.
Well, so far we've heard from various authorities, both from the Armenian side as well as the Azerbaijani side, on the situation, which is still desperate for hundreds of people. You have to realize that the hospitals which have been treating these people after Monday's explosion at the fuel depot are very ill-equipped. They don't have enough supplies. They've run out of stocks. And only now aid has started to trickle in. Much needed aid was sent from Azerbaijan, and there was a medical flight that came in from Armenia as well. But it is going to require, as one doctor told us, that these bandages are going to have to removed very quickly. They're going to require a lot of care because these are critically wounded burn victims, and in any circumstances, burn victims can go from bad to worse very quickly, and these hospitals do not have the capability to address all of these patients. On the Azerbaijani part, the government says it has put hospitals on high alert across this region, but so far no wounded people have been brought to these hospitals. Many are waiting to be taken to Armenia, and those flights have taken place. So it is going to be tough for these victims and their families to go through this ordeal, as it appears to be a tragedy on top of another tragedy, where they were leaving their homes, queuing up for cars, and the fuel depot exploded.
Osama, thanks very much indeed. Osama bin Javaid talking to us from Shusha. That's in Nagorno Karabakh. We're going to go to Bernard Smith, who's live at the Armenian border village of Kornidzor. So what's happening with these ethnic Armenians once they've left Nagorno Karabakh?
So, Rob, yes, almost 30,000 have left now, about a quarter of the population of Nagorno Karabakh, and there isn't really much let-up in the flow of people leaving. Now, clearly that means that those leaving have little confidence in the assurances from the Azerbaijani government that they can stay safely and their safety will be guaranteed in Nagorno Karabakh. They prefer to come here to Armenia, where the government has offered to house 40,000 families or help find accommodation for them, which is pretty much most of the people left in Nagorno Karabakh. And many of the people here blaming the Russians and their peacekeepers for failing to adhere to their mandate, which was essentially to stop Azerbaijan taking over Nagorno Karabakh. Well, soon there won't be much left for those Russian peacekeepers to do. It's the end of the road for the ethnic Armenians of Azerbaijan, who for centuries have made their home in its mountains and beyond. With the separatist enclave of Nagorno Karabakh now under Azerbaijani control, the 120,000 remaining ethnic Armenians were told they could stay and be ruled from Baku or leave. It set off an exodus for neighbouring Armenia, where more than 20,000 have arrived since Sunday.
Where we are going, what will happen to us, no one knows. I don't know what to say about our future. I don't think we will be able to return to Karabakh. How? How can we go back after all of this happened? We can't live with them.
These Armenians are proud, angry and upset. Russian peacekeepers failed to stop Azerbaijan blocking the main road to Armenia for 9 months. They refused to accept aid that was offered via a longer route controlled by Azerbaijan. The Europeans are accused of not wanting to pressurise oil and gas-rich Azerbaijan.
I don't know what kind of chess game this is. I left everything in my home, a ton of potatoes in my cellar, honey, everything was there. I know I will make a new life, but it won't be the same. I curse the one who made us like this.
The US government says Azerbaijan's use of force to take control of Nagorno Karabakh was unacceptable.
We know that there are injured civilians in Nagorno Karabakh who need to be evacuated, and it is absolutely essential that evacuation be facilitated by the government of Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev says his iron fist has consigned the idea of the region's independence to history. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, on the Armenia-Azerbaijan border. So these ethnic Armenians will either go and live with friends and relatives in Armenia or be provided with government accommodation. We're hearing that many of them are not happy with the facilities the government is offering. And of course, we've not spoken to anyone who's happy at leaving Nagorno-Karabakh. But they're going to have to rebuild new lives, because it's unlikely any of them will ever return and go back across those mountains into Nagorno-Karabakh. Ron.
It's Bernard Smith on the Armenian border with Nagorno Karabakh. Bernard, thank you.